Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm here to show a video basically on I'll call it the state of the game and some of the current events. As we all know, Antman and Wasp event is going on, and then right after that they launched Rocket, which is obviously people are extremely excited about. It's very similar to the Antman event. I'm not going to go through that in detail, but kind of shows you can go through these and get the orb fragments, sorry, to have a chance to get shards for Rocket. On top of that, you can see in a few days, from 5 to 8 days, we're going to get a relic hand event where you can get some actually catalysts, which are much needed. By the way, I don't like how I can't see what's next, because I sit here and wonder, well, how high do I want to bring up my hand team? Do I want to go to tier 2? Do I want to try to go to tier 3? Do I want to go to so on and so forth. And then I think that's the primary, and obviously we've got the Groot Blitz event, which has been, for me personally, actually, for some reason it seems like these blitzes are getting more difficult. I don't know why. Normally I'm in the tier 6, 7 range. I lost a tier 4 first match today, and I was a little confused by that. So anyway, I'm not sure what they're exactly doing there, but that's part of what's happening in game, obviously, as well. On top of that, we've got the Thanos raids. So, I did a video on these Thanos raids before. Again, our alliance is looking to do, about 30% in these. It just seems to be, all we can really do. And we've got some pretty heavy, not 100 plus K guys. We've got probably one in the 100K range. I'll just show you kind of what our makeup is. But those Thanos raids, like I said in the other video, it's just ridiculous. So we've got 105, several 90s, several 80s, get into the few in the 80s, and then you get into your 70s, several in the 70s, and then 60s. I think we got a couple 50s, a few 50s. So we've got a wide range of team makeup, and then obviously collection power varies as well, similar with the same people who had a strong team have strong collection power. But the frustrating part about that Thanos raid to me is, let me show you here. So we go to our alliance here. Look at these keys. We have 65,000 keys to open these Thanos raids, and it's like we cannot finish these because of how difficult they are. And this is where we end up getting to, is where we get, we'll push a little bit further and less depending on the group and what our group makeup is, but you've got and this is the 60, I get it, and this Thanos node is insane on 60. So we actually talked about, well, why don't we just do some 50s and just kind of plow through those? So we're like, yeah, let's look at that. 14,000 keys, we'll get some of those going back to back to back. And we started looking at it, and this is all easy. Nothing to, look at this, 10, 10, okay, and 80, whatever. 50, 50, 80, 50. And this seems about right, and then you get a 90, and you get a 594 for the last node. And I'm like, what is this crap? It's like, are you kidding me? And it's, again, these are not too difficult, but I'm just going a 594. So you're forced to use multiple attempts at it, and potentially even revives. So we were just like, that seems to be a waste. A 594, and the next highest is probably this 97. Okay, we've got a 136 here, but it's probably based on waves. But a 136 and 97, you jump to 594. Just, I don't know. I think Foxnext really kind of, they didn't screw the pooch on it, but they definitely, I think they could have thought through it a little bit better to make the users happier. And, stuff like that to me goes a long way. I think if you just put a little extra effort in there, you'll get your base happy. And look, there's always going to be somebody complaining. Always. I get that. But it just seems there's a lot of people complaining about that. And I think they could have done a lot better job there. So anyway, jumping back to these events, one of the things that I kind of want to talk about is, when you go through these, the way when you fight through them, you might have a chance to get these orb fragments. And then after that, you have to open up the orbs, which can give you anywhere from obviously 5 to 15, 30, 40, 50 shards. So it's RNG on RNG, which, again, a lot of people are really frustrated with. So it's just one of those things that, again, I think that I get why Foxnext is doing it, because they want people to grind and they want people to spend money and to spend cores, because the more cores you spend, the more you have to buy. Again, I get it, but at some point, some of the user base, not your whales, the people who are spending all that money, but eventually your big user base dwindles. So I think you got to find. I think Foxnext really has got to find a line if they want to have long-term great success with this, which I think they really can, because they've got a great model here. I think they need to rethink that slightly. So, we'll see on this particular Ant-Man node. This one seems to be difficult, where you have to protect the operator. I'm still only at 1 star. This one, the 1/8, seems to be, I actually haven't even attempted that because it would look pretty difficult. I didn't want to waste any of my energy. And then Rocket's event. So this was similar to Ant-Man with pushing along. The 1/7 is pretty brutal for me personally, and I'm a mid-70s strongest team power player. You've got this Sorcerer Supreme, and where's the Infector? Here's the Infector. These two are just brutal. If you can get her down, and you need to get almost the whole there's 2 waves. The first wave, you got to get her down, or most of that group down, before this Infector comes. If that Infector comes, I had Night Nurse, Yondu, and I think another couple minions, and I couldn't kill him. He just kept healing. He kept debuffing me, kept healing, and I think it went on for 3 minutes just fighting back and forth till he eventually killed me. So that's a tough node. So make sure that ideally if you got someone who can clear debuffs, the Hand Archer, Jessica Jones built up, which I don't think most people do, but if you do, that's probably helpful. Otherwise, you got to make sure you've got a pretty powerful team to beat through it, at least for your mid-range type players, not your 90, 100 plus K strongest team players. So, and then these next 2 events. This is the last couple things I'm going to talk about. So, the hand event. During this Merc event, I built up, or the previous Merc event with gold, I had built up my Merc team to make sure that I could get 3 stars. Because, you can't do these events unless you've got 2 stars. And you can't do it unless you're 3 stars. So it's like, okay, so I did that for the Merc event because it gave gold, and I really needed gold. So I look at my hand team here, and look, I've only been playing for about a month, so I'm very different than most players or some of these older players, but I've got a 2, 1, 1, 2, 2. Okay, I can't even farm Hand Sentry anywhere, and I can farm Hand Sorceress, but it's like, it's again, using that on just her for 1 event, for Catalyst, and I'll be lucky to get her up to 3 stars. So personally, I think these events where it's kind of a, get your team, and you can only do it if it's 1 or 2, 3 stars. It's not worth it to me. I mean, and again, I don't even know what the awards are here. It's probably another set of blues higher. I don't need those. I need purples. I need a ton of purples. So, and I think that's where most people are. So personally, I advise against this unless you've already got your hand team up, or you've got extra resources to spend. And then similar with this Space Ace Starlord. First off, I'm not a big fan of Starlord from just what I've seen in game, but it's the same thing. You need all these Guardians or Ravagers at 2 stars, 3 stars, and eventually you'll unlock them at 5. So if I go to my roster for Guardians or Ravagers, let's find them here. It's my lovely family and daughter. Happy 4th of July, everyone, by the way. So here's my Guardians, which those 2 are great. Super. Well, I'm not getting those 2 anywhere near that level, so I know that. I'll be lucky to get 45 shards for Groot and the Blitz, and I'll be lucky to unlock Rocket during his event. So, okay, so I've got 2 4/5 stars, which, I think that's probably most people have. Oops, I meant to go here, and then now I'm going to want my Ravager. All right, and this is going to be Yondu and company. So I've got Yondu, so I'm at 3 stars. And he's nowhere near the 4th, so it's like, all right, well, I'm at 3 stars. And then I've got these 2 at 1. Nowhere near leveled enough. And I have no intention of farming these things. I'm not even sure where to farm. Yeah, so it's orbs and blitz supplies. I'm not going to use my blitz credits for a Ravager Boomer for 1 event. What's the Bruiser at? He's probably, I think he's got to know. Yeah, he's got to know. But again, I'm not going to farm this guy. It's up to, multiple stars. So Anyway, I mean, again, I love the game. I love that they're putting more content in, but it seems to be this just concept of RNG on RNG on RNG, or if you're really rich and you got a bunch of money, you can just dump it into it. So, and I guess you don't have to be that rich if you just want to spend $100 every time you get a bunch of cores, and drop a few grand on the game. I mean, to me, that's rich, but that's kind of the status of the game right now. Again, I'm still loving it. I'm hoping Foxnext can, put some other, or let me say that differently. I hope they can, take into consideration, making some fine tweaks that can make the player base just a little bit happier and not feel like it's a what I like to call Diablo type grind. So we'll see what happens. If you agree or disagree, even if you disagree, put some comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts, and maybe Foxnext can, if we can reach out to them at some point, they can start, listening to the base a little bit and seeing if they can make some adjustments so that some of these things can be a little bit more accessible. And not everybody should get the character the first go around. I get it, but hopefully they can make it a little bit more accessible for even, I think, 70, 80, 90K players should be able to get some of these things. So if you like the video, please subscribe below, as well as clicking that like button, and I'll see you guys soon. Thanks.